Hey everybody, and welcome to We Watch TV. It is the podcast about the TV that we watch. I'm Daniel, she is Hope. This is episode 120.
So I guess it's finally fall, sort of, outside?
Feels like it.
Not a lot. Well, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, but in terms of the We Watch TV podcast crew, I made some show notes, and I had opener ? We don't know what we're going to talk about. But I made sure to make note that Chili's still slaps, as in the restaurant.
Remains undefeated.
We hadn't been there for like a while. It had been since what, like July?
At least July, if not earlier than that.
And it hits. After a particularly hard week, it hit hard. And let's just say that the chain restaurants where we are in our area, they're not dying. They're not going anywhere away anytime soon. We had like a 25-minute wait. Across the way, the OGs, Olive Garden, busy. Would you say like Logan's was busy too?
Yeah, the sickos over at Olive Garden.
Hey, I like the OGs. Don't disparage it. It's not my fault that when we would go to Olive Garden, you would get the mixed grill instead of like actual pasta. That what they're known for, you weirdo.
I will hear no disparagement of the mixed grill. It was an excellent meal.
Do you know that I know somebody that one time they thought that Andy's mints that you get, which I know you don't like those because you're so weird, but they thought that you could like only get them at Olive Garden. They didn't think like you
I
could
probably
buy
thought
them.
that at one point in my life. But again, I only went to Olive Garden for like when I was growing up. Olive Garden was like the fancy place.
Well, that was like our special occasion place too.
Yeah, now you walk in there, there's people in sweatpants and
because when
less.
you're here, your family. All right.
Olive Garden's basically just takeout for us now. If that should tell you the quality of it. Is
I miss Fazoli's. Speaking of takeout, like, do you remember eating Fazoli's all the time in college? I love Fazoli's.
Yeah.
Do those still exist?
I don't know.
Internet, weigh in. Let us know. All right, so we have some announcements because we know it's been. We hope you enjoyed our And Just Like That supercut last week. But Nobody Wants This season 2 is dropping on Netflix this Thursday. It appears that we're not getting the dreaded split season. So just to remind you guys, that is the show with Adam Brody and Kristen Bell. And it's really funny. It's basically about a priest that's dating what do they call her in the show? Like I
thought she did a podcast.
Yeah, but should they call her, like, there's like a word they're calling her, like.
Oh, I have no memory of that.
I don't know.
I barely remember the show. The only thing I remember from this show is my screw up on social media. That is the only thing I remember.
It's like a term they refer to as because she's not Jewish, and I can't remember what they called her in it. But like, so I really liked the first season, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I'm worried. I'm looking forward to the second season, but obviously occasionally, or maybe more often than not, one good season of show that maybe they didn't necessarily have any plans for extra seasons ends up screwing everything up.
See, I feel like they did have plans to have an extra season of this.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like they had like they didn't cliffhanger you on anything.
I mean, there was no like sizzler, like, oh my gosh, we are left in the absolute unknown. But I think they have enough material they can do a season 2. Sure,
I do. I agree.
Because it's about navigating that relationship dynamic, like interfaith, like how they work, family dynamics. I will say, I know there was a lot of people last season that were shipping her sister and his married brother, and I think they're not going to go in that direction and have any type of affair. It looks to me like that his wife is going to actually start hanging out with them. Which I want to see that dynamic.
Yeah, I don't think they really wrote that dynamic into the show. I think that was just a result of those two actors having really good chemistry on screen.
Yeah.
But I don't think that was ever the intent, and I agree. It should not be part of the story.
I agree with that they had good chemistry, but I do think there was like not the like feelings perspective, but a way like he was texting her and not telling his wife who he was texting.
Right.
I think it's because he connected with somebody and they were like being friends. And I think they're going to address that dynamic is weird hopefully, in this season. I'm not saying like men and women can't be friends. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, and like the way they were doing it, like seemed like kind of shady. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think we can all, because I was really worried that they were going to go off of like all the fans that were shipping them and mess it up. And I'm like, no, I don't want to see like a marriage destroyed. I would really like to see his wife, who has a huge, strong personality, actually hanging out with Kristen Bell and her sister. So I am excited for that. We both really like the first season. If you don't know what Daniel was referring to with his Instagram screw up, there was an episode in season 1 where for her podcast, she's a podcaster, she actually makes money for her podcast. We don't make any. Little Caesar, sponsor us. They go to like a sex shop, right?
Yeah.
To find some type of device. And I was like, I was texting Daniel the night before, or not the night before.
You just don't put me in charge
Yeah.
of the Instagram account.
I was
like,
telling
just
you,
don't do it.
Like
and then you made the mistake months later when the K-pop Demon Hunters. You made the mistake of doing it again, and I messed up again. And I promise you, everybody, I'm not doing this on purpose.
Well,
I'm just bad and not detail oriented when it comes to posting on social media.
I had told him, I was like, hey, get a picture. Just find a picture of the show. If nobody wants this, use it. And then I'm looking at the picture later, and I'm like, of all the photos, because I did a quick Google image search, I'm like, you choose the one where they have like a wall of, devices in the sex store. Yeah, so it's just, I don't know. The comedy just writes itself, but I'm looking forward to that. That's a new show.
Sorry, I'm over here distracted, by the way. I am desperately trying to find when we talked about this show on the podcast. So if anybody wants to hear our season 1 commentary, they can get it. And I am just like,
I feel like it was probably last year around like August or something.
The release date says September 26th.
Then we probably talked about it last fall.
And I'm failing miserably.
Well,
Either that or I failed to put it in as our into the show notes or something. I don't know, but it's got to be after September 20.
We clearly talked about it since we used the infamous photo for Instagram.
Right?
Which
yeah,
no
I know.
longer is on there because I switched out the picture.
Yeah, she fixed it. She wasn't going to let that stand. So I don't know. I'll probably zone out on a conversation here in a little bit and find it. And nobody wants this. There it is. Episode 84, One Ship to Doom Them All. If you want to hear us talk about the entirety of season 1 of Nobody Wants This, go to episode 84 and you will find everything that you want.
That must have been when I tried to watch Rings of Power.
It was. Yeah.
Before I just couldn't.
Oh, and it looks like we talked a little bit like we maybe didn't do the whole season in that episode because it also shows up in episode 85. You should see me in a crowd.
Oh, I really miss Agatha. Down, 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 down the witches, down the
So anyways, we're looking forward to Nobody Wants This, and if you would
Down the Witches Road came on during my run today, by the way.
I'm not surprised
to
at
interrupt.
all. If we are looking forward to season 2 of Nobody Wants This, and if you want to hear our thoughts on season 1 to get yourself excited for it, go check out episode 84 and episode 85 of this very podcast to hear us talk about season 1.
And if you don't want that, too bad. It's a good show. So also speaking of Netflix, we have official announcements for Bridgerton season 4. Once again, the awful, dreaded split season. Please rot who's ever making these choices at Netflix. So that means we're going to get 4 episodes and then 4 more. I really think it ruined the pacing of season 3. Hate that. But at least we're finally getting some Bridgerton back in our life. It's going to be Benedict and Sophie. We're basically the Cinderella type of season.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Oh my gosh, what?
How many times have you watched season 3?
So many. More. I've watched season 2 a bunch too. Season 1 is the one that I've rewatched the least. There's a huge argument in and I just really think it depends what type of trope you like. Whereas I watched season 1. I did watch season 1 in a day. I really liked it. It's not my least favorite in the book series, but it's probably my second least favorite. I find that season to be the most boring in comparison, just because it's there wasn't a lot. I mean, like they had like the we're fake dating, now we're together, and the whole like he didn't want kids and some stuff. And I did think those actors had good chemistry, but like even in season 1, before I read the books, I was like, I really like Anthony Bridgerton. And then I read book 2, the Viscount Who Loved Me or something. I think that's what it's called. And it's my favorite of the series because I do love me and good enemies to lovers.
The bicker won't be home for hours.
I know. Shut up. And so that, and then like romancing Mr. Bridgerton, which is technically book 4. So I don't know why they did the Paul season in 3, but I think it's because we had seen those characters of Colin and Penelope and people wanted that. That was my second favorite book. So there was a period of time where I was rewatching season 2 all the time. I probably am now caught up with it with season 3. But yeah, I think like the other week I was rewatching it again. And you're like, you're watching this again? I'm like, yes.
This is what I'm subjugated to, everyone.
You're not up here watching it with me.
That means I'm not watching something with you, because I'm not watching that with you.
I've asked you so many times, you want to find something to watch, and you're like, no, I want to play my game.
I said I want to watch The Chair Company.
I don't want to watch The Chair Company.
Okay.
All right, so part 1 of Bridgerton drops January 29th, 2026. I can't believe it's going to be 2026. And part 2 drops February 26th. I think we already talked about Emily, Ross wants you. Emily in Paris. I don't even remember what season it is for her. That's coming back. Is it coming back in December? I think it is.
That's what your show notes that you wrote say. So I'm not going to argue
I feel like
with
it is
you or the show notes.
I feel like we did talk about this already, and I was like, why are they bringing so many things back in December when that's Christmas time? Like, give me more. Like, I'm glad that Bridgerton is giving us stuff in January and February, and we need stuff to fill the winter void. Also coming back for season 2, finally, I know we've announced it, is Percy Jackson, Disney Plus. That's also in December, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Do we have an official date? Because I just kept seeing sometime in December.
If we have one, I've
if we have one, it's not written down.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Again, we don't make money off this podcast.
It's only a loser.
All right, so that's some of our show announcements of things coming up, which is good because a lot of our stuff is winding down, and I feel like we're sort of in that lull. But, never fear. We'll talk about it soon. We'll have our Hallmark Christmas season. It's almost Christmas, guys. I have something to say about that. And I probably already said this 50 times on this podcast. November 1st is when the holiday season officially kicks off. Just because you decorate for Christmas early, watch stuff early, does not mean you forget Thanksgiving. I don't know who elected themselves the unofficial holiday police in this world, but mind your business. It's just that Thanksgiving is a fun time during the holiday season. Thank you. Enough.
Here's the only thing I'll say to that, and this isn't a criticism of you or Christmas people. This is a criticism of capitalism at its core. I have been able to buy Christmas stuff in the stores for 2 weeks.
Okay, well,
I was able to buy Halloween stuff in July.
Okay, so
and
it's not just on Christmas.
Yeah, I said it's not of Christmas.
Okay.
It's not of Christmas people. It's of capitalism in general. Stop it. I don't need to buy Halloween decor on the 4th of July.
I mean, I wouldn't have gotten that really cute shirt at Disney that's been sold out on the website if I didn't buy it. It says, "Let's go, ghouls." And it's got, like, the characters in their Halloween outfits. If I didn't buy it on, like, July 5th. So. But, yeah, I saw a TikTok the other day that said somebody's seen Valentine's Day stuff in stores already.
Like Walmart.
I feel like Christmas always that's why I'm getting defensive. I feel like Christmas always gets blamed for this when literally, and I'm glad you pointed out that Halloween stuff was
it happens with all the other ones too. It's like, but right now Walmart, like half the Halloween section is gone, and they're already got the Christmas stuff up, and Halloween hasn't even happened yet. Like, it's crazy. Like, just the way they pre-plan for this stuff.
It is not a day; it is a season.
I agree with that. But so why are we like what? But July? July 4th is like the least Halloween I've ever had in my mind.
July 5th is when I start dreaming about the Burr months, and I'm so ready. So
it's. Anyways, happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Okay, let's get into some shows.
Sure.
All right. So just a friendly reminder that we are a spoiler podcast. So check those little chapter markers that we put in. If you are wanting to avoid a particular spoiler, go ahead and skip to the next show. We wrapped up Peacemaker Season 2. I would say the season finale, probably the series finale from what the people are saying. That is the DC Comics show by James Gunn, who is now, I believe, the head of DC, and it airs. I still don't know. Is it called HBO? Is it called Max? What is it? HBO Max?
I'd have
what
to check.
What do they call that app?
I haven't checked today to see what it's called.
They change the logo all the time. They change the colors. No one knows what to call it.
Did you see Apple TV change their name?
What are they called now?
Apple TV, which is what I've been calling them all along.
Weren't they like Apple TV Plus or something stupid?
It's like, that's so stupid. So that's a good change. But yeah, HBO, I'd have to check. I have to, put my finger up in the air in the wind and see which way the wind is going to tell you what that HBO app is right now.
I feel like that's the one that always changes.
Yeah.
Constantly.
I think at this point they're leaning into the change because I've seen their social media marketing has always been making fun of themselves. So I don't know. But yes, James Gunn is in charge of James Gunn is the Kevin Feige of the DCU for the time being. We'll see what happens with that.
That's the biggest miss that Marvel's ever done.
Well, if Paramount purchases them, they've basically said James Gunn is out.
And that'll be
stupid.
Well, I mean, considering how stupid the Paramount Plus app is, it just seems like another monumental dumb decision. But let's get into it. Peacemaker Season 2 wrapped up. The internet is split, as usual, on what they thought of everything.
Well, here at We Watch TV podcast, I don't care what the internet thinks. Yes. What did you think?
Okay, well, first off, do you want to kind of refresh how
to surmise the season, Chris, Peacemaker, played
season
by John Cena, found a portal into other universes. He found his way into a universe that seemed really nice. His dad was alive and nice. His brother was alive. Hardcore seemed to like him. He wound up killing the version of himself from that universe, and then over the course of the season takes place there. All that happened, and then, he finds out it's not actually that good of a universe. It's Universe X, Earth X, which is from the DC universe.
It's basically like if the Nazis won World
War II. Yeah, it's a very, white supremacist culture. And so his friends come to save him. They get into all that shenanigans and stuff, and he comes back. And when he comes back, he gives Rick Flag Sr. the portal and says, my friends didn't have anything to do with this, take me away. And so the whole finale is just basically him trying to escape his friends because he has convinced himself that he is a bad luck on his friends.
Curse.
Everybody he loves, meets a poor ending, and it's his friends coming to rescue him and say, that's not true. Everybody can change. They pulled a Rocky IV. Everybody can change.
I was about to say that.
And then they go and they start, which this is apparently a big thing in DCU, the checkmate. Is that what it was called?
Yes.
And so
I looked that up.
The episode ends. We get the song. We get the Foxy Shazam Oh Lord song, and it's great, and it's a montage, and everybody's having a great time. But then we pause it for some reason because we needed to, get up and use the bathroom or something. And it's like, why are there 15 minutes left in this episode? And that's because after all of that fun, good times ends, then Rick Flag Jr. comes, Rick Flag Sr. comes, abducts Peacemaker, throws him into this new portal world that they found where there's nobody at, and he's their test subject because that's where he wants to throw all the metahumans.
Yes.
And leaves him there.
Okay, so that's pretty good. Little wrap up. Yeah, I thought that a lot of people I really found out seem to not like season 2 as much as season 1. I actually thought that both seasons were very good. I think it's hard to compare because I watched them. We didn't have the long wait between seasons. So to me, it almost just feels like a continuation, which it is. I am somebody who does personally like character-driven storylines, and I do think this season was more character-driven. I'd say the one thing I think we could have done a couple more episodes tack it on there, so we could have spent there was some more time in Earth X. I felt like they kind of, I mean, a lot went down in that episode, but I feel like they kind of sewed some stuff up. We obviously know that his brother is presumed alive still in Earth X. I would have liked to seen he hit it and quit it with the Harcourt version in Earth X. I would have liked it. There was no like conversation. I would have personally liked to have seen that because, and if I'm like regular Harcourt, I think I would have been a little upset about that. Like you just like slept with this woman that looks like me but is not me to fill the void. Like that's weird. So if we're talking about character driven things, to me that is character driven. I would have liked to seen a little bit more with that, but you know,
I think I think some of the glazing over of like him just seeing the flag that had that certain symbol on it. I think in my mind we glaze over any relationships in that universe going forward due to basically everybody being completely, you know, on board with that ideology to say, well, we're going to drop these people because like of that.
Yeah, it would have just been. The thing is, like like his dad, was his dad really better in that world? I don't know. I think that you could relate that as some people make that excuse now.
Right.
Like I'm just doing the best I can, whereas like the Adrian of that world was fighting against it. So I think that's a whole other debate. But then you could go back to say like that Harcourt, if that's all she has known and she was doing her job, maybe she doesn't necessarily believe those things. That's just what the society that she's been in. So you could really dive really deep into that and really go into a character driven thing. But that being said, they probably had a certain number of episodes they had to do, so they had to get out of there. And
I mean, James Gunn is in charge of the DCU. He's the guy that sets how many episodes there are. If he wanted to make more episodes, he could have just made more episodes.
Unless HBO/Max/whatever
fine.
said no more.
I do agree with you that
I think we could have used one more
the
episode.
wrap up of the Earth X storyline into the finale, which we're talking about today, was abrupt.
Now, that being said, we could always revisit Earth X in future DC projects. He's kind of hinted at that. I personally was totally fine that we didn't have a big cameo. If you're going to have a cameo of like Superman, which I think it would have been like the version of Superman that would have been in Earth X, I think that was as close as we could have gotten. I knew once we were out of there that wasn't happening. I think Lex Luthor made sense to be the big cameo because of the whole portal thing. They definitely were pulling a little bit of a Marvel. I can say that. They were relying on you to have watched Superman.
Sure.
To kind of know what was going on.
Right.
I mean, a little bit, like, which we got away with it. I had to look some stuff up. They kind of wanted you to rewatch. Like, I actually watched some YouTube videos after this season to really see the Rick Flag Jr. Peacemaker scenes because we had not seen either of the Suicide Squad movies. So, but I felt like they really wanted to make sure that, hey, you've watched Superman, and I think there's going to be the Green Lantern show, which I'm not really into that, but I will watch for Clear Eyes, Full Hearts Can't Lose. Kyle Chandler, also known as Coach Eric Tyler from Friday Night Lights. He's going to be one of the leads in it, right?
Yeah, he's a Green Lantern.
So I think we're going to see people from Peacemaker in that. They've already confirmed that we're going to see Adrian in Supergirl? Is that what
Superman.
Superman.
Yeah.
Okay, so probably not. We're getting Supergirl next summer.
Yes, 2026, yes. And then Man of Tomorrow.
Do we think we see any of these characters in Supergirl?
I don't think so.
It's going to be mostly in space?
Maybe some of the Green Lanterns because of that space, but everybody says this is going to be like a Guardians of the Galaxy kind of situation where because if you remember when she comes in at the end of Superman, she's been away and she's coming back. So I think... I don't think we're going to get a lot, but maybe some of the Green Lanterns, we'll see some of them, but I don't think we'll see a lot of the people going on Earth. I do think there's a chance the Lanterns show that Peacemaker, we find him there.
Yeah. Because
I think the story that we left with Peacemaker Season 2, and I'm starting to think that we need to stop thinking about it as so much of Peacemaker Season 1, Peacemaker Season 2, and think of it
a Wanda Agatha thing.
Right, exactly. Is that I think each show is going to just continue to tell a story, and the characters that need to be there to show up for that story are going to show up. And so we might not see the whole team at Checkmate, all the 11th Street kids, but some of them are going to show up here and there, right, and do stuff. And so I do think that's how James Gunn's going to go forward with this.
And I think I wouldn't have been as like I wouldn't have been like, ugh, about the sizzle if I knew I was getting a season 3 of Peacemaker, because my thing is I know we're going to see these characters show up in random places, but my favorite part about this show is the 11th Street kids together, the team, the unit, and I'm not sure we're going to get to see that all again. That being said, I think I am on the side of I did like the finale. I mean, I was like, if we could have just cut the show when they're performing Checkmate. One of the things we noticed, we finally got the flashback of what happened with Harcourt and Chris, and really it was just like they had a touching moment, but there was no like hooking up or anything like that. They just realized, they're into each other. Can I just say that I noticed I was the bigger nerd than you.
Of course.
I can't believe this.
This is a common occurrence, folks.
So they're going to not a common occurrence. It's becoming more common. They're going to a fast food place, and I'm like, Big Belly Burger. I'm like, oh, that's a DC thing, because that's what they would eat there in The Flash all the time on the show, which The Flash, those first couple seasons of The Flash on the CW were great. Once they got to the Crisis episodes, it kind of fell off, but you have to admit it, those first few seasons of The Flash on the CW, that was good TV.
Yeah, they should have ended that show after the Crisis on Infinite Earths, because that was what they had been leading the story up to the whole time.
But I was like, pause the show. I was like, Big Belly Burger. I was like, that's like a DC thing. I'm like, you don't recognize this? And you're like, what? And then like half the time I start like making a map in my head, and I'm like, okay, where are all these places located? I was like, we've got Evergreen, Metropolis, Gotham, and I'm like trying to like figure out geographically how far in Central City, that's for the Flash, where they all go. And Daniel's looking at me like, what are you doing? I'm like, I am what you made me.
Listen, I love a good map, but like it's just the United States, and they've just replaced cities in the United States with these cities. And like I'm sure somebody on the internet,
Marvel used real cities.
I'm sure somebody on the internet has put them in the spot they're supposed to be in, and you could just go look at it.
Well, it was just, I like to see, like, because the way Evergreen just seems so different than the other cities. Yeah. So I was very into that. But really, like, they had Nelson, the band.
Yeah.
They had them on.
You got way more excited about that than I ever expected you to.
I don't even...
Considering I wouldn't have known who Nelson was.
I know.
Without you going, them. Nelson! It's Nelson! That's actually Nelson!
Okay. Do you want to know how I know Nelson?
Sure.
So, you know how I'm a night owl. Picture this. Sitting on my couch at my old house that I grew up in, downstairs in the basement. I'm watching TV. We don't have streaming stuff, so I'm just watching the TV, watching stuff late night.
Infomercials.
Those infomercials for CDs and stuff would feature Nelson, and they had the long blonde hair. That's how I know Nelson. That's also how I know, 'cause I'm your lady. You know when you fall asleep and wake up to that at like 3 in the morning?
Yeah, I agree. I liked this episode. I thought it was really good. Let me hit you with something. Let me throw this at you, because I've been thinking about it, and this makes absolutely zero change to how the episode actually goes.
Okay.
What if after the Foxy's Jam song and the montage and the team is all together and they establish Checkmate and everything is happy and we're all happy, it fades to black and they hit you with credits, and then the post credits is the scene is exactly the same that we saw when Rick Flag Sr. comes and takes Peacemaker away. Would that change your feelings of how that was framed in any way? That it was more,
because it would still be the exact same thing.
Because
I was just watching a movie.
I liked the episode. I thought
so did I.
I thought it was a great resolution to the story that they'd been telling. I did feel that scene at the end was kind of an abrupt way to end the show, and for some reason in my mind it feels like if they had put it in as a post credits, it would have felt less something. I don't know.
So even though the exact same storyline would be happening, I see what you're saying, because maybe I feel like the post credit shows you that more time has passed.
I could have reveled.
I believe they want you to infer that some time has passed to set up Checkmate.
I could have reveled in the credits, because we always watch the credits, because he always puts something at the end. I could have seen all of that thing take place and all that resolution to these characters come to place, and they're all happy, and I'm like, yes. And then I could have had, a minute of credits rolling before I
So
had
what
to
you're
see that.
saying is this is my fault because I'm going to you when they're having the happiness. I'm like, Daniel, we have 10 minutes left. So one could say I'm the problem.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
Possibly. I also looked up the checkmate theme for you. I was like, oh, a lot of fans boys were really happy about this. And as a book reader, which I know that's not the same as comics, I always love when you can give some winks to the book readers.
Sure.
So I'm happy for the comic fans, especially, God knows, the DC comic boys have been through it.
They've
had
been
some
through it, yeah.
garbage franchise while Marvel's been out there. And I feel like with Superman, they're finally being rewarded for their fandom. So good on them. I think my favorite scene from the finale, other than the whole music video montage, was Adrian and Don. Not Don Cheadle. I'm doing it again. That's Tim Matthews, right? That's his name.
Tim Meadows.
Tim Meadows. I don't know. Tim Meadows. Go on.
You have Tim Meadows blindness.
Yeah. Bird blindness with your Pokemon. And it's like, so they're already working at Checkmate. They're sitting beside each other, and he's like, quiz me on spider facts, because you know that Adrian loves him to be quizzed on some animal facts. And he's like, they make milk. They have tiny udders. Really? Can you buy? Yeah, you can buy it at Whole Foods. And they're just those two. Oh, and then my other favorite moment from the finale was Economos and Eagly. Eagly put his little wing and kind of gave him a hug because he had been taking care of him.
That's the stuff that makes you disappointed there's not going to be a direct season 3, because then now it's not just the old team, but now like we've added members that we like to the new team, to the old team, and you would love to see those people have a little bit more screen time. And I'm not saying they won't, but it definitely was kind of like a melancholy feeling of like, oh, I really like everything they've done here, but now this is it. I don't get to see any more of it.
I'm all about the team chemistry, and I just don't think we're going to get all those characters.
Right.
At time. I think we're supposed to infer that they created Checkmate, they did good, they're all connected, and they all probably get together, off screen whenever they find Peacemaker from whatever that world is. So, yeah, that I would just say my only other thought from that season was that my opinion on John Cena as an actor has totally changed after watching Peacemaker. It's not that I thought he's a bad actor, but he just kind of would be like the funny guy and play the same character in movies and stuff that I had seen him in, and I feel like he really showed his range. So I
agree. I honestly look forward to seeing him in more things. He retired from wrestling a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Which means he's now going to be able to give his body a little bit of a break and not have to be so completely bulked up. And so I really do think I think he's got a bright career in acting, and I look forward to seeing what he does, because I think I was season 1 I was impressed, but the stuff he did in season 2, particularly like that scene with his brother at the end of the Earth X storyline was impressive.
All right, well, let's move on from Peacemaker. If those of you use those little handy-dandy chapter markers, welcome back to Only Murders in the Building, the show we both love, we both enjoy every episode, and then completely forget about when we have to talk about it on the podcast.
I don't even know what day this show airs.
It's forgettable. It comes out on Tuesdays, but we've got Dancing with the Stars on Tuesdays. So we usually watch it on Wednesdays. So we have watched, since we last chatted, 2 episodes. Silver Alert. The mayor warns the trio about the billionaires, sending them to investigate further at a villainous lair upstate as Oliver boots it in an attempted escape. IMDb, do better with this description. And then we also watched episode 8. Mabel gathers a ragtag group to crash an exclusive ladies' night while trying to save the Arconia, that is their building, the Only Murders in the Building, from being sold. Charles and Oliver accidentally end up going to couples therapy. So at this point, I believe we have how many episodes left? 2 episodes to go. I have no idea who the murderer is, and I really love watching Only Murders in the Building. I love it. I'm in a good mood when we watch it, but this season, it's just, I watch it and it flies out of my brain and I forget about it. What about you?
Yeah, I think
I just don't know.
I
have no theories.
I wager to say that it's lost a little bit of the magic, but not the magic that keeps us watching.
Yeah.
The magic that keeps us watching is those 3 lead actors and how good they are together.
Yes.
And we will continue to sit down and watch it
And
over
it is
and over and over
entertaining
again
when we're
because it's
watching it.
entertaining. But the murder mystery side and the playfulness around like the podcast and all that kind of stuff has, I think, like suffered and waned a little bit in storytelling. And it's like the tease at the end of the last episode is like, oh, we had a bird camera and that the tech billionaire couldn't manipulate, and therefore now we see the new doorman came and picked up the murder weapon, and it's like, oh, so we are just. And I don't think it's going to be the doorman. I think he had a hand involved. I don't think he did the murder, but it's like
too soon.
It's just okay.
Well, we have the episode where they went to the mansion, and somehow that mansion barely any security, and they get in and they find them all together, like with a supposed game night. And later, by the end of that, it is revealed that Renee Zellweger's character, that is like what is her name, like
Camilla, whatever. I don't know.
Something.
She's like rich.
And she wants to buy the Arconia and turn it into a casino. That is the plan. I guess there's no casinos in New York City. I wasn't aware of that. And that's what they want to do. And because they already had the whole underground casino that was discovered in the Arconia. So that's why she's actually the one that offered to buy Oliver's apartment. She's been buying up all of them. And I believe the most previous episode showed the reason why they were in couples therapy is they were trying to get that guy that's a therapist to not sell, but then they finished their session, they went over on their session and he didn't have time to like reverse the sale, so they have that whole plot. I somehow think that the day will be saved because the Arconia is as much of a set piece in that series. I agree with you. I don't think we're any closer to knowing who Lester is. If it turns out to be Mabel's friend, I'm going to be so irritated.
I said that in the last episode
sloppy.
With no evidence whatsoever. So I don't know.
I wish I had more to say about it because I love each episode when we watch it, and I think it's because you're right, because the mystery is not at the forefront for me, and they're intentionally. I feel like the first 2 seasons they really dropped those clues and they wanted you to piece it together. This one they're definitely trying to make it so you don't guess it.
Right.
And like I said, we're gonna show up, we're gonna watch it, we're gonna have fun, but I just don't care about this mystery.
Yeah, I don't. And I'm also going to be, they've already done it a little bit, and I hope they don't do more of it. But they've also, they've got the 3 billionaires who have been in and out of being suspects, right?
Yes.
And I think right now they're kind of, we know they know something, but we don't think they are necessarily the billionaires. And they've definitely done it with Renee Zellweger's character, and they've done it with
and she
the
was
younger,
hooking up with the mob guy's
and
husband.
They've done it with the younger kid too. I really don't want to see them go sympathetic on these characters.
Me either.
I don't think they're the murderers, but I'm not here for a sympathetic billionaire storyline. I'm sorry. It's just the wrong.
It's not the right vibe.
It's the wrong century, wrong decade, wrong year for sympathy for billionaires.
I will say that any episode Meryl Streep's in, she steals the show. For the whole ladies' night thing, she's like, I'm going to cosplay as my old roommate, Celery. And I'm going to, because I'm a psychic. And the more that I like that character, I like her acting. I feel like only Meryl can act bad, but it's still good. So I know that and I love that she's come back to do multiple seasons of the show, because that's usually not her vibe. Like, she was always notorious that she didn't do sequels in movies.
Right.
And you can tell, I think she just has a good time coming in and filming stuff, and it works for me. But yeah, I don't have much else to say for Only Murders, because I have no idea who killed Lester. Don't know where they're going with it. But I look forward to the journey, I guess.
Yeah.
I want Jan to show up, though, one time.
I thought they were going to do it, but then
Me too.
The dating, what was the name of the dating app that Charles was using?
I don't know.
It turned out to be one of the rich billionaires. So yeah.
All right. So we also have Abbott Elementary season 5. The first, I think we already talked about the first episode. I watched episode 2 without you. This is a show that just you come and go in and out of, but we did recently watch episode 3, and I was excited to watch this one because I remember seeing the pictures that they released over the summer. They filmed at a Phillies game, so because they're in Philadelphia. I love how connected they make sure.
Yeah.
Like, they've brought a lot of like the Eagles. I think like Jalen Hurts, Jason Kelsey when he was still in the Eagles have come in to do episodes, but they had the whole thing of them like at the game.
Yeah.
And the Philly fanatic. What is up with Philly and their weird mascots?
I don't know. Like the Eagles have the eagle, and that's fairly standard. But the hockey team,
Eagly.
the hockey team, and the baseball team, those are
Strange.
Those are strange mascots.
Very weird.
Now
very
listen,
weird.
folks, I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, so
You don't even have a mascot. Well, I guess you have like an elf.
we have an
right?
elf and a dog. So I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it, but these are like straight up Muppet weird
Yeah.
characters, and I don't like they're beloved apparently, so I get it, whatever, but it's kind of weird. They're kind of weird looking.
Kyle Schwarber was in the episode. I felt like, so there's this point where Barb's like, I know him. I'm gonna say all these things if I get to meet him, and then they do get to meet him because Janine got hit in the head by a baseball. So I feel like so let me walk y'all back in time.
Oh, she's gonna brag about her.
I am a Pittsburgh Pirates fan, for better or worse. We had three good years of my life. I got to see those. What a time! What a time! But I won a contest through Twitter. I'm still gonna, because that's what it was called back then. To win I got to sit in the suite. I got to bring one guest, so I brought Daniel, of course. Get free food all night long. Perfect. It kind of ruined baseball for me because it was so nice sitting in that suite. It was so awesome. But we got to go to practice, and we got to meet the manager, that was Clint Hurdle at the time. I wonder what he's up to these days. And then we got to meet Starlene Marte, who played for the Pirates. And you said you'd never see me like completely clam up. Like, they're coming over to me. I don't even remember what I did. I know he signed my ball. I know we got a picture. I know, like, I think I said hi to him, but you were like, oh my gosh, that was you. The way Barb like clammed up. Like, what did I do? I think I just was smiling.
It's just weird to
I was so
me
happy.
because you're the person who like can talk to anybody
Yeah.
if you need to. If the situation arises and and a small talk or some sort of conversation has to take place, like
I can talk the weather.
you're the
with
person
best
who's
of them.
not going to make it awkward while I stand there and somebody says something to me and I go, yeah, and just continue my blank stare off into space. You can actually
sometimes do on this podcast.
You can actually make small talk and all that stuff. But in this situation, you just was like, he walked over and was like saying hi and signing stuff, and you were just like,
It's like the kid. I like Santa.
yeah, exactly, yeah, right, like, or no, you were Ralphie. You get to Santa Claus, and you're like, a football.
Yeah, that's
you want a
what I was
football?
like, yeah.
And it's like what? And then I'm just sitting here looking at you because, like, you know, I'm
And you're like, do you want to take a picture with
yeah,
him, Hope?
right.
Yes.
And so it was very strange.
I was very excited. They did would you ever do, to get Jacob to shut up because he was being annoying, Melissa had him do the
9-9-9 challenge. 9 hot dogs, 9 beers, 9 innings. So you drink a beer and you eat a hot dog each inning.
He made it to like the 6th inning?
Yeah. So not in my 40s.
That is a lot of food.
I think
And a lot of booze.
if you okay, just go with me here for a second.
I'd be barfing up hot dogs after the 4th
Go with me here
inning.
for a second. The men's cross country team from college.
Yeah.
If we all showed up to a baseball game in our, at that time,
Yeah.
you can see us all doing
Even
that,
with
right?
the food too?
You could see us all doing that, right?
I guess my thing would
And
be,
and I would be one, like, obviously 20 years old,
Mm-hmm.
running a lot, and also the peer pressure of the people around me. I would give it a good, honest shot, and I think I could have done it.
it's
it
not
would
like
have
you know
hurt.
how long you
It
have,
would have
though.
felt terrible. Oh yeah, absolutely.
What
That's
if
the
it's
hardest
the
part.
Pittsburgh Pirates who can't get a hit and the inning's over in like 2 minutes?
Yeah.
So you have to eat another hot dog and a beer. But Melissa, you think she did it. Turns out she was just hiding all the hot dogs in her jacket. I thought that was a funny scene. I also really felt for Janine when she was on the camera and the dancing. They're like, the little girl, because as also a short woman, I can't tell you how often I am referred to as a little girl. And every time I see, which I think Quinta, who plays Janine, is like an inch actually shorter than me. I'm Sabrina Carpenter height. 5 feet to be exact. And I think Quinta's like 4'11" or something. I can't tell you how often people call me little girl, but at the same time, until like Sabrina got popular and I would watch an Abbott, I knew that I was short. I mean, I did win freshman favorites, best short person in school. Did you guys do freshman favorites, like superlatives?
Not that I recall.
Okay, I'm sure you did. You probably didn't win anything. Just kidding. Oh, nice. Anyway, so I knew that I was short, but I never really saw myself as being that short because a lot of, my mom is short. I'm around a lot of short people, and I'm like, am I that short? And you're like, yes. Like, I just don't see what the big deal is. Like, they're always making comments, though, about Sabrina's height, and I know, like, when Sabrina and Taylor Swift were pictured next to each other, everyone was like, oh, big deal. And I'm like, that's because Taylor, like, have we ever thought about, and I love Taylor Swift, I'm a Swiftie, but I'm like, have we ever thought about that Taylor's also tall? She's a tall woman. Like, just, like, people are really weird about, like, short adult women. And I just have only noticed that in the past couple years, like, and I just never really saw it myself as it being that big of a deal, But they make it such a big deal, and I'm like, I have been referred to as a little girl. Like, what do you think about that as a tall man? You're taller than the average man. Am I that short? Is it weird?
I mean, I'm used to it at this point. But I just think it's funny when we did the little camera thing that TikTok does, where you like put the camera at my eye height and look down and as if you're talking to me face to face, and that's the view I get. Yeah, it is kind of, when you think about it, it's like there's this, oh, look at you, just pat you on the head.
I wonder why, like, tall people, you feel like giant to get, like, pointed out for being tall. You have to be like Dwight Howard.
Yeah, because I'm 6 feet tall, and I never feel tall.
But
I never feel tall.
When they were like, look at the little girl, and like, I can't tell you how a lot of times when I worked as a reporter, they'd be like, I talked to the little blonde girl. That's how they would call me. So I do love me some Abbott. It is one of those shows that, like you said, you float in and out of it, that when we watch it, I have a good time. I enjoy the characters. It's easy viewing, just like the next show, which apparently we have something we can watch for dinner tonight, Daniel. Ghosts is back.
That means we have to get on Paramount Plus, though.
I know. Apparently it came back last week. I guess I had it in my head it was coming back on Halloween. I don't know. Maybe
that would make sense.
Yeah, that would have made sense. I was like, what happened at the end of Ghost?
I have no memory of it.
Well, I looked it up for you. Never fear. Hope is here. So remember Jay accidentally made like a deal with the devil?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So the episode description for the premiere is Sam, Jay, and the ghost attempt to, I can't say this word.
You can't say it, or you won't say it.
Extricate?
Extricate?
Is that how you say it?
I don't know. I'm not looking at the screen.
EXTRIC.
You can't spell something out loud to me and expect me to know what it is.
We're both English majors, and we are failing miserably at this. Okay, so they are attempting to get Jay out of his deal with Elias Woodstone. That's what's her face?
Yeah, okay, I remember that now.
Yes, and then Isaac is going to help Patience. She's still around through a crisis of confidence. And Pete. Oh, I forgot that Pete and Alberta kissed. So they're going to navigate the fallout from their kiss. That's been like something they've been building, the two of them, for like seasons. And I forgot they had him finally kiss. So I'm excited to watch Ghosts. We'll probably do the same thing. We'll let that stack a little bit. Like you said, we have to get into Paramount Plus. But Ghosts is back. I like it. It's just easy. Again, one of those shows, if you're looking for easy viewing, check out Ghosts.
All right, in other news, Special Forces is still around.
But Johnny Manziel is not.
Johnny Manziel is out in the last episode. Not a lot of people. I think somebody even said it on the episode that we watched. Like, there's a lot of people left around for 4 episodes in.
They're gonna have to start like kicking people out. We had Jesse Smollett got medically. He had to leave for medical purposes. Johnny Manziel was just a big disappointment. He just
could tell,
up and quit.
Like 30 seconds after he quit. When they had the shot of him standing, he had gotten out of that trench and walked away, and you could tell that he regretted it almost immediately.
It was almost like a panicked, hot-headed decision. Unfortunately, Cody Brown's still there. I thought the last episode we finally got to focus on Sean Johnson and her husband.
Right.
Because he's like, and Sean's just locked in. Like, she has that Olympic drive. And I feel like he is saying, like, and I do think he thinks he's being supportive, and I think he is supportive, but I think deep down, and they were kind of getting to the root of that, he did feel embarrassed that she was able to complete one of the tasks and he couldn't, because then he actually was one of the team leaders and had the best effort, and I think he was still in his head about not doing as good of a job. So I've listened to their podcast before. I think he does support her. I think he seems like he's a pretty good husband just from what I've seen. But I think this show kind of peels back those layers, and I think there is some insecurity with him. And they barely talked about the other husband and wife there, Jesse, James Decker, and Eric Decker. Do you think they're going to focus on them at all? They've been kind of flying under the radar.
Well, I don't know if they've got time, because now you've told me that there's potentially only one episode left.
According to IMDb,
that doesn't feel right. But if it is,
and according to AI, it's scheduled to have 5 episodes, which would mean that this week is the finale, and it does not feel right.
There's like 13 people left. I wonder, it may be like maybe something happens and they have to like call it early. I don't know. Like,
I have no idea, but that seems weird.
Weird, yeah.
Because normally they've had kind of the standard finale at each time, and we were talking about how Nick Young is still there.
Yeah.
And he kind of like
He'll never make it through that.
He's like not gonna make it through that. He's been freaking out on the height stuff, and the way he definitely has the whole like class clown comedian vibe. That's how he deals with things. Is he says stuff out loud. I've known people like that. That's how he works through it. And I'm like, he's not gonna handle like the crying babies in the one room that they have to But I'm like, are they even gonna do this challenge if there's supposedly only 5 episodes left? I'm definitely disappointed that Johnny Manziel went out early, though.
Yeah, but I mean, he wasn't. The time he was there, he was not providing any kind of real entertainment factor. Like,
I did like how in the episode, I don't think we talked about it, where Cody was walking across like the wire thing or the ladder, and the one dude was like, "Pretend like you're having to give him to one of your wives." His sister wives.
Dancing with the Stars completed Disney night and had we not talked about Disney night or dedication night?
We have not talked about Disney night or dedication night. Those are the previous episodes. The last person that got voted off was Ilaria Baldwin, is now gone. She got voted off on Disney night, and for dedication night, which they've done before, no one went home. So I think we're going to have a double elimination tonight, which tonight is Wicked Night. I'm so excited for Wicked Night. So yeah, let's get into it. The dances for Disney night, I thought they were pretty good. The standout dance for me of Disney night, I have 2. Was one, I thought Alex and Val did really good. That's the best I had seen her perform. She was Maleficent. I thought that was a really good dance. And then Mark and Whitney absolutely ate and left no crumbs with that Hamilton dance. I feel like we did talk about Disney night on the podcast, but I don't know. Did we? Maybe not. We talk about it so much with each other. Half the time I can't tell it.
We didn't have an episode last week, so we wouldn't have talked about Disney night, because last week's episode was the supercut.
See, we're yapping to each other in the house randomly about the show all the time, and I'm like, did we talk about that on the pod?
Here's my problem. I agree with you on your 2 picks for the Disney night, and those were probably the 2 standouts. My problem with that is that I feel like Hamilton is stretching the theme a little bit too thin.
Yeah, they got by with that. That was the Disney Plus selection.
Because
don't punish the dancers.
Okay, I'm not punishing the dancers. I'm not. I'm just saying that, like, now that Hulu is, on the death march, and everything that is on Hulu is on Disney Plus, like, next year, are we going to have, like, what are we going to have that's going to count as Disney?
They had Simpsons for Disney night one year.
Yeah, and I disagree with that. Like, it's a great dance, but like, I just think it's stupid to call it Disney night if you're not going to do a known Disney property. Too.
All right, well, then you know what is a known Disney property and we're having a serious missed opportunity? Let's bring in a little man I like to call Protozoa and zoom, 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 make my heart go boom, boom.
So anyways, dedication
Xenon would be amazing.
Anyways, dedication night, always a bummer. Well, at least they didn't get rid of anybody. But I honestly, like, this dedication night's this episode I look forward to the least.
Really? But it's so sad.
Yeah, exactly.
But also touching.
Exactly.
This time they did something different. They actually brought out the people on stage
Yeah, and it
that
was
they
bad.
were dedicated to? You thought it was bad?
I didn't like it because of exactly the reasons that you said earlier today. Some people
See, I can't remember what I'm podcasting when I'm not.
had brought in somebody for like the last 5 seconds of the dance, and other people incorporated that person almost into the entirety of the dance, which led to, how do you score this?
Well, I don't think there were any rules on that, but I do feel like, for example, like Alan and Elaine, Lisa Ann Walters, who plays Melissa on Abbott Elementary, but she's also Chessie in The Parent Trap. They met on The Parent Trap. They have been, and I know this is not just a thing to get people to watch, like, because I have followed both of their careers. They have been best friends for years, like ride or dies. And they had Lisa Ann come in, and she basically danced almost that entire routine. And she did pretty good for not having very much rehearsal time. But Elaine's one of those contestants who I definitely think, if she got more votes, would deserve to be in the finals. And I do feel like that, I think, one, don't get me into it, I feel like they've been underscoring her the whole season. But I digress. I think that, like, that could have almost hindered the scoring for that. Whereas Andy, who had his little girl, who's so precious and cute and danced better than he did, I feel like she was in the dance almost the whole time, and that helped them. And then you had I Was Sobbing, Robert and Whitney's, their contemporary, was beautiful, but his mom was on stage for like 2 seconds. Let's see, Mark and Whitney, they had Connor, another problem, like he should do Dancing with the Stars. Connor did almost the whole dance too with them. It almost felt like a trio. That was a really good dance. And then of course I saw people, you better put some respect on William Daniels, Mr. Feeney, you Gen Z people. People are like, this old man was on stage for 2 seconds. The man is 98, and Danielle and Pasha had a jive. I was surprised he stood up in the scene. They did the dance to the Boy Meets World theme song, and I thought they were just going to have him behind the desk, but when he stood up, I was like, oh my gosh, he's standing up. So yeah, there was really, and I think they were still not supposed to be judged on how the person that they brought in did.
Yeah,
but in the case of like Alan, Elaine, Lisa Ann, where they are dancing the whole dance, or Connor, Whitney, and Mark, and they're in the whole dance together, I think it probably did make it a little harder to judge.
Yeah, how does it not come into play in some manner into how the dancing? Because particularly some of those dances, you end up not, because like Elaine was dancing with her at one point.
It felt like trio night, which they used to do.
How like Elaine is not is trying to be is trying to be a good dancer, but she's now dancing with somebody who has less dancing experience with her, and that's going to affect how she dances the dance, and it's just this whole mess. And I didn't like it.
See,
I feel like you could have done dedication night, have the person there, give them a hug at the end, and be done with it.
I kind of liked it that they brought him on stage. I thought it added, to me, it's always the same old each year, and I like that they brought in that new element. But I did think that, like I said, like some of those pros, they took a gamble by putting them in.
All right.
I don't know, but I thought it was a good way to change it up. I'm definitely gonna say Dancing with the Stars has a lot of new fans, which I'm glad, but I'm about to have to step away from the internet for a little bit because these new fans are insane. Y'all, I remember when y'all wouldn't have survived the years where people were getting 3s and 4s. Also, every season somebody has dance experience. Alex has dance experience on this show. Whitney, as we know, has dance experience on this show. Apparently, the Irwins are just blessed with natural dance ability. But I'm trying to think of somebody else that probably... Oh, Elaine. She has dance experience. Ilaria. Now, Ilaria's dance experience was different. She was actually ballroom trained and competed against the pros. So that's where I had some beef with her. Charlie D'Amelio, who won with Mark a couple seasons ago, dance experience and probably one of the best dancers I've ever seen on there. That is a common thing. I'm seeing some people like... I never thought I'd see the day where people turned on Mark Ballas. I've always loved Mark for being creative. They think he gets special treatment. I absolutely do not think that is true. And it's just, if people are making it, they're sucking the fun out of it. And then some of the judging definitely has been inconsistent, but don't blame the pros on that. Don't blame the dancers on that because they don't have anything to do with how they're being judged.
No, we were talking in the car the other day, and I finally came out and just plain old said it. I don't like Derek as a judge. He's not filling the hole left by Lynn in a way.
I prefer Derek to Carrie Ann.
You know what? But I'm used to her. I know how she's
so wildly inconsistent.
She's consistently inconsistent, and so I'm there. I understand it. And how Bruno is, I get it. But Derek is like, I don't know. There's just the last couple seasons, the way he judges and does stuff. Like, he's given out these 8s and 9s to people who Lynn would have never even put a thought to those dances getting 8s and 9s. And then sometimes he's dragging Bruno with him into that. Because if you've noticed the theme, Bruno and Derek tend to be about the same score, and then it's Carrie Ann who's the outlier one way or the other.
Carrie Ann bugs me the most just because she picks on a woman every season. Seems like she's picking on Jen this year. And it just, I don't know. I think as a whole, though, the judging, they're being so hard on the women and so easy on the men. There's no way, shape, form, or fashion that Dylan Efron, Zac Efron's brother.
I mean, this Dylan Efron guy that they just pulled off the street. Nobody knows who he is.
The fact that
he's not a celebrity, and yet here he is dancing and stays on the show just because they're giving him good scores.
He got all 9s. He was the top of the leaderboard, and he danced a contemporary. Do I think that Daniela is giving him technique, working with him? Sure. Was his little sister adorable? Yes. I like that they danced to their brother's song from The Greatest Showman, but my jaw about hit the ground when he got all 9s. Like, that was insane. And I think I feel like they used to judge all of the contestants on the same, like, scale. Now it's like you're almost being judged, like, individually, and it's weird. And it comes off odd. And I felt like Alex and Robert's and Whitney's contemporaries were all better than Dylan's. And I feel like Dylan has been consistently overscored every week, where people like Jordan and Elaine have been underscored, and it's irritating. Now, I will also say this. I got to defend my boy Mark Ballas one more time. I saw people were like, oh, they got away with a mistake, Mark and Whitney, because they were off timing. They did not get away with a mistake. All the judges pointed it out, and they did dock points. I think that could have been a 10 dance had they not gotten away with that mistake, or excuse me, had they not had that mistake that they did not get away with, because they all pointed it out and their scores were lower. Simone Biles, let's talk about Simone Biles right now. Who was on Dancing with the Stars? She falls off a balance beam. She still might win that competition. You want to know why? She has her more difficult routine, harder tricks. The content that Mark gave Whitney was harder than other people. So yeah, of course, like, they're gonna dock it, but it was still a very good dance, and she was doing more. And I'm starting to think that they're not gonna make the finals, and I'm gonna be really mad about it, because people are just really weird about these two, and it's very upsetting. And there was some controversy about Wicked Night and the songs, and Mark had to come out and say, this is the order of the songs that I wanted, like, here's my list, where Popular was like number 4. I can tell if you're a real Wicked fan and if you're not, because I feel like people only know Popular and Defying Gravity that have not seen it. And I'm sitting there like, I wouldn't want to dance to Popular, and that's one of my favorite songs from Wicked, because I'm like, the timing of that, the musicality, that's going to be hard to dance to. And people are like, a lot of the Alex fans are like, oh, it should have been her that got Popular. How so? I feel like Whitney's going to have better theatrics anyway. And people are getting real mad about it. And I'm like, no, like, relax. It's just some of the fans and the way they're acting. And I think Derek, remember he made that weird comment about negativity? And we were like, why did he say that? A lot of people online think that it was actually going off this discourse. He just said it awkwardly. So I'm like, this is supposed to be a fun show. So yeah, that's what I gotta get off my soapbox. Like, leave them alone.
Okay, well,
I'm
jump
just
off
here for the fun
jump
dancing.
off the soapbox. We got to stop talking about Dancing with the Stars.
Well, we have to talk about one more thing.
Well, we got 2 more things to talk about, but before we talk about this week, I'm just going to go rant, since you get to rant about Dancing with the Stars, and I've already put one hot take out there about my thoughts on Derek. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you the other one that I told you about the other day. I don't like contemporary. And I understand that some of the greatest, most memorable dances on Dancing with the Stars that have ever been were contemporaries. And guess what? I don't like contemporary.
That's really interesting, because
they can do whatever they want. There's no rules. They just get to go do blah, 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 blah. And I really don't like, because did not used to be the way the show used to be. I really do not like when they have people doing foxtrots.
I can agree with that.
And traditional ballroom dances, and then a couple people get to go jump around out there and do jazz and do contemporary, and they have to look at each other. And the average Dancing with the Stars watcher, and I'm not an average Dancing with the Stars watcher, people. For better or for worse, I've been subjugated to this show for 20 years.
You like this show. You watched it in your hotel room.
But to the average
okay.
person watching the show, they see the contemporary people and they go, oh, well, that was way better than the Foxtrot people. Not because it was technically better or not, but because it was flashier and more fun, and I don't like it.
Can I just say
I don't
the
like the
season
contemporary
that really
style.
sucked you in was that Amon and Daniela contemporary on Halloween night, and you're like, this is the best dance I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. But that didn't suck me in. I had already been in the franchise for years before that.
But you were really excited. That was one of your favorite seasons to watch.
Yes.
And I think it's because we saw Amon do so well. Who got 4s?
Yes.
By the way,
Who
from
got
Lynn.
4s? There hasn't been, couldn't even dream of a 4 this year. What's a 4?
Okay, so I want to say one more thing about Dancing with the Stars. Wicked Night. Taking all the negative online discourse aside, I am so excited for Wicked Night. I cannot wait. And I'm sorry, the Alex fans that were complaining about her not getting popular, she actually got the best song. She and Val got What Is This Feeling? And I feel like there were those rumors at the beginning of the season that they weren't getting along. I'm like, oh my God, they need to play off that. That's going to be really fun. It's going to make a good dance. Robert got Dancing Through Life. Perfect. Obsessed. I'm really excited. I love Wicked. That's why I'm going to stop the online discourse and I'm just going to enjoy hearing one of my favorite, movie, musical, Broadway productions coming into play with Dancing with the Stars, and I'm gonna have fun with it. I can't wait. My one question is this: Defying Gravity. I really thought Jordan was gonna get that because of the stuff she could do, but it turns out Elaine and Alan got it, and Alan totally had us all thinking that they were gonna get something bad so he could dress up as an animal again. And he tricked us, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're getting like the song from Wicked. So I'm excited. If it is a double elimination, my predictions are I do think it's time for Andy to go, and I think it's going to be either Andy and sadly Elaine, which is going to be bullcrap, or Andy and Jen from Secret Lives and Mormon Lives. I think those 3 are the ones I'm worried about tonight. Andy, Elaine, and Jen. Who do you think is going? Make 2 predictions. You can have a third in case, like me.
Andy and Jen.
Andy and Jen?
Yep.
All
Maybe
right.
that's me being hopeful. So.
Well, it's everybody's almost favorite time of year for Hallmark Christmas movies. But first off, we decided to watch a Halloween Hallmark movie called Haul Out the Halloween. It is the 3rd movie to the Haul Out the Holly movies of the Christmas variety with the Hallmark Christmas queen herself, Lacey Chabert. And I was really excited about this because it has Marnie and her real-life husband who they met when they filmed Halloween Town 2. What is it? Calabar's Revenge. I always want to say Excalibur. I know that's wrong. Calabar's Revenge. They met. They reconnected several years later as adults, and now they're married in real life. It's super cute. And I'm like, we have to watch this because the Halloween Town people are going to be in it. So we watched it on Saturday, kind of kicking off the Hallmark movies. What'd you think, Daniel?
This was one of the worst pieces of garbage
Oh, it was cute.
I have ever seen.
You don't like the Hall of the Holly movies?
There was nothing redeeming about it.
The very end, the last sentence at the end was redeeming.
Terrible. The writing was bad. The acting was bad. The cinematography was bad. Everything about it was bad. You can clearly tell the writers decided, since the last time they wrote one of these horrible piles of garbage, that they had all watched The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and realized, hey, wait a second. We made the first 2 movies of this series, of this franchise, we made it look like they were in Utah. So it's very easy for us to just go back and now suddenly make this in Utah and put all these callbacks to the Mormon Wives, like with their swig
yeah.
and with their
I don't think they caught it swig,
always saying their Mormon Wives stuff, and just put it all in there to shill it out for the Mormon Wives folks out there that just love it, and just make just an awful piece of garbage
but you don't like
of
the
a
Hall
movie
of the Holly movies anyway.
that just I'm a worse person for having watched this movie. It's an insult to call it a movie. It was terrible, and it was physically painful for me to sit through. And I'm mad at the industry as a whole for allowing this to get made.
But you didn't love of the Hallmark Christmas movies. You never really liked the Hall at the Hollywood.
You keep using the word love. And I just want to make a very clear statement. Please do not interrupt me. I want this to be a clean take. There is not a single Hallmark Christmas or any other holiday movie
you didn't really love
that I ever would say I loved or liked. There have been a few on occasion. There have been a few on occasion that I would say were fine.
You really liked that one with Jake Chakowski.
No.
You
said it was fine.
Whatever.
It was fine.
Whatever.
If this is any indication of the quality that we can look forward to with the Christmas movies coming up here in a couple weeks. Oh, wait, not a couple weeks. It's mid-October, and they're already on. And now you're going to have a full 2-season television show that you're going to make me watch called Mistletoe Mysteries or something. Yeah. You're going to drive me insane.
Anyway, do you remember the first Hall at the Holly was when I had shingles? Do you remember that?
The shingles experience must have been more enjoyable than watching this movie.
No. Okay, you've never had shingles. It is awful. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Okay, I will say this. The Hall at the Holly movies are intentionally stupid. I feel like they all play them up. No. They're not intentionally stupid. They are stupid, but there's no intention behind that. Okay, anyway, this one, it's clear they wanted to do something cutesy for Halloween. I want to know what happened to the neighbors in the second Hall at the Holly that moved in. Those people were nowhere to be found. The plot of this one was all over
non-existent.
The last ones, they've kind of had a cohesive element. We have Grandma's apparently a ghost, but they're bringing Halloween back to the neighborhood because our lead character, Emily, was like, I guess Grandma died like 2 weeks after Halloween, so for some reason they decided
So the entire town... Wait. I don't think this can just... I'm sorry. This can't be glossed over. So she got scared by a little girl at Halloween.
Who's now a news reporter.
Grandma died 2 weeks after Halloween, and the entire cul-de-sac stops celebrating Halloween for 25 years.
Apparently. But they decided to bring it back because of our Halloween Town, the couple who are not playing their characters from Halloween Town. They're playing a couple that moves in, and they're obsessed with Halloween. And I felt kind of like duped. I thought they were going to have more of a role.
Right there with you, sister.
I thought they were going to have more of a role. I think maybe if you put their screen time together, Kimberly J. Brown, who played Marnie in the Halloween Town movies, I think they had maybe like 5 minutes. But you know what, Daniel? I said this movie will be redeemed for me if I can hear Kimberly J. Brown say, Halloween is cool. And guess what? The last sentence of the movie, after we found out that Emily's husband got into the Norwegian Santa Academy, I'm sensing a fourth movie here. She goes, Halloween is cool. And I was like, yes, it makes up for it. No notes.
You're an unabashed shill for nostalgia.
I am. And I watched Halloween Town the next day. So our Hallmark and Netflix Christmas season is almost here. As he said, the stuff has already kicked off. Daniel bought a throwback Hallmark movie. We are going to be watching that in early November, A Diva's Christmas Carol. It is queued up.
By the way, I want to make it very clear. I didn't do this out of goodness of my heart. She looked at me and said, you should try and find a copy of this. And I did.
Yeah, because you love doing it.
Probably one of the first episodes, podcast episodes of November will also be a supercut of last year's Christmas Hallmark and Netflix movies. Kind of like what we did last year.
Netflix Hot Frosty.
Kind of like what we did last year, where we released that. So
you loved Hot Frosty.
Look forward, or have a mild sense of dread at the forthcoming supercut of that one.
Well, we are getting 5 Netflix original Christmas movies, and one of them, Daniel, I just got to tell you this: the preview of it is a girl who has to pay money. like pay the bills, and she's gonna dress up. She's gonna have a Mrs. Doubtfire situation where she's gonna go full makeup and dress up as Santa, but then she's gonna fall in love with like the owner of the ski lodge, but he doesn't know that she's like impersonating Santa because he thinks Santa's a man. And I can't wait for that one. It looks insane. Remember The Blacklist? You know Tom from The Blacklist? He's gonna play the love interest in that. I can't wait.
I'm going to watch all this. And all I ask in return is she watches Star Trek 4 with me. That's it. I don't ask for a lot. But that is a requirement. Because this is insanity. It's getting out of hand.
Well, you are going to be dropping that supercut though, so people can relive.
Yeah, I've got it.
Hallmark
It's almost pulled together, so it'll be early November.
I like to watch the Hallmark and Netflix ones, and then we bring out the heavy hitters, the good ones, like Christmas
it's
Vacation,
not just
Home Alone.
It's not
Muppets.
just simply because you bring out the heavy hitters. It's because as soon as you watch one of those actual quality films, you can't then go back to the garbage slop of Hallmark Christmas movies.
You liked a Biltmore Christmas.
It was fine.
Oh, please.
It was fine. Are we done?
Yes.
Is this all we have to do? I feel like I can't believe you even made me relive watching that Halloween movie. Like,
are we still recording? I thought you were saying.
Yeah.
I thought you were asking me if we were done. I was like, I guess. Oh, I watched one more movie that I'll talk about because I'll never talk about it again on the podcast. I watched I Know What You Did Last Summer, the sequel of a sequel on Netflix. It finally dropped on Netflix, even though it just came out in late July, August. It's not a sign of good things. I had you don't watch those movies, so
No.
You weren't up here. I actually had the big twist ruined for me like the day after the movie was released, which is why you didn't get dragged to the theaters to see it. So I guess thank the weirdo TikToker who ruined everything.
Thank you, weirdo TikToker, for ruining everything.
The twist was stupid. I still kind of like the movie. I liked seeing Jennifer Love Hewitt, and unfortunately, the post-credits or the mid-credit scene that we got, which had Brandy, who was in I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, she showed up in it, and they really sizzled me, and I'm like, oh, now I want another, but I heard this movie was an absolute flop, so now I don't think we're going to get that. But that makes me sad. I wish you watched the I Know. You're just not a horror kind of person.
No, not particularly.
Are you?
No. Another movie flopped over the last weekend, Tron, the new Tron Legacy. I think I saw a funny meme where it was like, Tron fans sacrificing the Tron franchise. They'll never make another one just so we can finally get Jared Leto to go away.
I like Jared Leto. What's wrong with him?
You're in the strong minority here.
Who doesn't? What did he do?
He's creepy. He's
He's
just
Jordan
listen,
Catalano from My So-Called Life. I love Jared Leto.
He's just not the vibes.
I think he's hot.
As the kids would say, he's just not the vibes.
Did he do something controversial?
I don't know. He's just not the vibes.
6'7".